Okay, folks ask all the time about all my bases. I'm gonna try and do this quick, just cause. So look here, I have a member section to where I've gone over all of the bases and all of the builds as much as I can. Any new build I walk through every single step of it in there. That's just what that's for. Normally, I don't want to do any videos here that have anything to do with anything but just the playing. But been a lot of questions, so I figured that I'd answer some of them. This here is Nicodemus. This is the base I'm known by. 36 years, this was my only base. I designed it when I was 15 years old. Steve Wise in Austin, Texas built it for me. He finished it just in time for me to leave on tour with Agony Column, my band at the time, and to also make our albums with the thing. It's a fretless 36-inch scale bass. Mahogany body, curly maple face on the front, and ebony knobs. Everything's handmade. 36-inch scale. The whole thing is 5'10", and yes, that is a sword in there. That's the way it goes. Here you go. It's a monster. It's not super heavy. Everybody always asks, but it's pretty heavy. I played it, toured with it. It's got the living crap beat out of it. Recently, I just sanded it down a little bit. I just kind of cleaned it up, mainly because it was beat. Did the fingerboard, messed with it. Started using it as a bead bass. I don't like it. I'm going back to EADG, but here it is. I don't get to play it much because it takes a lot of space, and I'm playing in tiny little clubs right now, and I will be busting it out eventually. This is the bass I'm known by. This is my house. This is my living room where you see all these videos go down. Literally, it's just my living room, just a ratty old living room. Right here's my little bass world. Those are my bows, most of them. I do hunt with all these bows, but they're all either vintage or handmade. Most of the vintage ones are even handmade. I started doing it when I was a little kid. I still do it. Here you go. Here's my bases. I started building bases because Nico here is just so damn big. It's a pain in the ass, and I've endured that pain in the ass for 36 years of playing around the house, banging into stuff, whatever. It's great. It was tone. That's what I cared about. 36-inch scale fretless. I wanted to build some bases to make my life a little easier. The first one I built, and yes, these are all swords. I do HEMA. I teach saber. I teach rapier. I teach long sword. That's a real long sword. That's a feather schwert. If people ask, you see it all the time. I swing that thing 200 times a day. There's a rapier there. That's sharp. It will kill you. That's a saber I practice with. This, going quickly again. This guy right here, I decided I want to try and build myself a bass that I could play around the house. I'd never built anything before. This is just, I don't know, 2 years ago, maybe 3. I built this guy. It's a Warmoth body. It's a Iceman. Everything's from Warmoth because that's what, I know they're good quality stuff. So I just built something that I could play around the house and be comfortable with. Mahogany body, pillowed maple. I came up with my own dye on that. Dyed it. It's just true oil. I never liked the headstock. I made my own little truss rod cover. But there you go. You see it. I always, if possible, use Seymour Duncan jazz bass. That's what I toured with Nico. They're great. They're great pickups. Seymour Duncan, a proactive jazz bass. I like Leo Kwan bridges myself, but I don't know. I've moved around. Now I'm getting the Clusons and things like that. After that, I wanted to build another bass that because I just got addicted to building, and that's the one you guys are always seeing here. This guy here, my mahogany body, custom. It was cut on a CNC machine. I don't cut my own bodies yet. I mean, I kind of do. I played around with it, but haven't been happy with them. All these ones that I get made on the CNC machine are pretty damn hard to beat. So it's a Fender Thunderbird style body, all mahogany. I think it's 2 pieces glued together, cut out of that. Seymour Duncan things again. The reason there's 2, people always ask, the reason there's 2 thumb rests is I couldn't find the sweet spot on it. I was still new to building when I built that thing. I couldn't find the sweet spot on it. I wasn't sure how I was going to use it. So I put one on, didn't like it, put the other on. Now the holes are there, I left it. They're ebony. Experimented with this bridge. What is that? I always forget that. I don't like it, but whatever. It worked out great. The thing's got a good sound. Warmoth necks, not so much Warmoth bodies anymore. They're great bodies, but they're expensive. I get guys to make them on CNC machines for me for not much. This is a Wenge neck ebony fingerboard. I made that as a joke, Epic Phony, because everybody goes, oh, it's an Epiphone. No, it's an Epic Phony. It's my own creation. It's the bass that is my best all-around bass. After that, I wanted to make a Jazzmaster, but I couldn't. I started looking around, and that's when I discovered the Meteoras, and I thought Meteoras were cool. Wanted somebody to make me a Meteora body. At the time, nobody would, because they were getting in trouble from Fender for it. So what I did was I found a loaded Meteora body. It was Silverburst on Reverb. And I ended up getting it for a song. So I took the thing, I sanded it down. That's Rust-Oleum spray paint. And I just kind of fogged it so it'd have like a texture. Hand cut, literally by hand with a little handsaw. That pearl fingerboard, pick guard. It's got everything else on this is just stock Fender down here. But I wanted a fretless, you see, and they don't make a fretless Fender. And the necks on them are jazz bass necks up in the nut. It's too narrow for me. I hate them. So Warmoth, and that it's a bird's eye maple neck. Beautiful neck. Works out great, but you got to finish bird's eye maple. So it's true oil, which is what I use, by the way. That's what's on all of these. These are true oil. That's all I use. But I was worried about I use round wound strings. I was worried about the strings tearing into that maple too much. I was really concerned about it. So I don't like the boat epoxy thing, and I've been hearing a lot about people coating them with a CA glue, which is super glue. I messed around, I researched that. I played with it on some test pieces. It just makes the wood look bone. It doesn't give it any warmth. And no one knew. I asked everybody, and I even went to Glue Boost and talked to them about it, and they all thought this would work. My idea would work, and it did. And basically what I did was I true oiled this, which isn't going to be a tough enough, but it still gives it a little finish. It's basically like linseed oil, and then I put CA glue over it to make it a real hard thing. This is a growly, rousty bass. I was curious about trying it because, going with the loaded body, because everybody told me about those pickups being really awesome. They are. It's cool. They can go from active to passive. It's really neat. Basically, just like I said, it's a stock Fender Meteora that I built into a custom thing for myself. After that, I wanted to build a fretted because I don't have a fretted and I hardly ever play it. So, CNC cut Starcaster body right here. Mahogany also, because I'm really into mahogany here. Let me get this thing here. Mahogany, Starcaster body. I dyed it. I made my own dye. It's red. True oil. Seymour Duncan pickups again. These are I forget what they call these. But they're cool pickups too. That's what fit the body. Got a Clusen bridge on it. And then I deviated. This is where I learned my lesson. This isn't a Warmoth neck. I didn't want to spend a whole lot of money on this bass because I don't really play fretted. I never really have. I just messed around with it. But I wanted one around because I found an old Washburn in a Mars, if you guys remember Mars once, and I used to go out there and I just play on this Washburn AB34 acoustic bass and ended up writing a bunch of songs in it while I was Washburn. I ended up wearing the thing out at Mars and buying it and wrote some songs on it. I thought it was kind of fun because I strum on the things. I strum on fretted basses, mess around. But this neck is not a Warmoth neck. And I don't like it. I messed up the nut, a couple other things on it, and I'm not an expert on setting up a fretted bass, so I haven't ever really got it to my liking. But I don't play it enough to where, so I don't care. But here, by the way, this is my little logo thing. That's the only thing I put on my basses normally when I build on my name. Instead of a name or anything, I just put that little heel plate. But there you go. There's my one fretted bass. I actually do have a couple others that are factory basses. They're like acoustics. I have a Dean acoustic resonator that's fretted, and that old Washburn died. I have like a crappy one that's a long story. Whatever. I don't ever play them. They're back there in some other room. These aren't all my basses, by the way. These are the ones I built. I'm walking you through what I built. So time goes by, and the guy that makes my CNC bodies said, "Hey, I can make you a Meteora now," and that's great because I didn't want the pick guard and all, I want rear control and I want no pick guard. So he made me this. He cut me out of mahogany. It's an asteroid shape to my specs with jazz bass pickups and all that sort of stuff. Warmoth Paddock neck, I don't know what you call it. Ebony board. And I wanted to use these big muff knobs because they're cool. But I wanted to use a Steve Bailey preamp because I wanted to experiment with it. And so these are the same Seymour Duncans that I always use, the Proactive jazz bass ones. But instead, I wanted to match. So I found a spray paint close enough, and I painted them to match those knobs. And then also with the Steve Bailey, you've got a stacked knob. So I had to build one. So that's literally just that's an A700, I think they call that knob. It's off of like a piece of electronic equipment. And I cut the middle out of this big muff knob, and I made my own little stack knob there. So that's how that sucker works. And that bass, that bass I call the Asteroid, by the way. This guy, I call that, the Iceman I call Frosty. It's after a drummer I played with for a long time, jammed with. His name was Barry Smith, and Frosty is a great guy, great drummer. He played with Sly and everything. So that's Frosty the Iceman back there. That's Boris the Thunderbird, tribute to Boris to John Entwistle. That's the Asteroid. That's Marvin the Angry Meteora. That's just called the Starcaster. And then this is the latest one I built for myself, the Jazz Blaster. I finally got around to a Jazzmaster body. It is a Warmoth. What happened was I'm cruising through the end of the year sales on Warmoth, and they've got a one-piece Swamp Ash body for $200. And I'm like, well, I can't pass that up, man. So I bought that, and then that started this plan. Warmoth neck, I want to experiment there again. It's Goncalo Alves, which is a wood I've never messed with before. Didn't know much about it. But I thought it was really beautiful, and I wanted to try a Goncalo Alves with a Goncalo Alves fingerboard, and because I thought it would go really nice with the Swamp Ash. When it came, the color wasn't nice. It didn't look good, actually. But I thought, well, after I'm going to burnish it with lemon oil, which is what I did. I burnished the crap. I sat for, gosh, man, a couple of weeks just hand rubbing the thing with lemon oil into it to really bring out the color and to give it some sort of a light finish, Once again, same pickups. I think it's a Kluson bridge or a high mass Fender. Those high mass Fenders are great bridges, by the way. I highly recommend them. This one, so I built it, put it all together. Just had this weak muley tone that I just didn't dig. I didn't like it. The Goncalo Alves fingerboard, it was just a little too soft. The attack was kind of blurry, and I just wasn't into it. So once again, I came back. And I tried some things. One of the things I tried was another Seymour Duncan preamp. You can see the stack knob there to put in there, and maybe get a little more punch out of it. It helped a bit. But then what I did was I did the whole CA glue on the fingerboard again, and that got it somewhere. It still was a little clacky now because the CA glue makes it more bright, and it makes it the attack a little bit more crisp, which is what I was looking for, but it was almost too much, So I don't know. I did the CA glue thing, and at first I didn't like it again. It took a while, and it started to grow on me, and now I'm really loving that bass. It's very low endy. It's got a very low endy, and so is the Asteroid. It's got a real low endy sort of sound. So with my trio, Daily Winter Crow, it works really well. On my solo stuff and things where I tend to go off into Pretty Land and whatnot, I stick with Boris the Thunderbird. So basically, I've built all these basses. I'm building two more right now. One for Bobby, who's playing, my best friend. He's playing bass. He's a guitar player, but he's playing bass in Corrosion Conformity right now. I'm building him a bass just because I love him and he's my best friend. And it's a fretted jazz bass body PJ setup. In my member section, I've been chronicling that. I've stalled out on it because I ran out of some money, but the neck should be here this week. Roasted maple neck, maple body. I'm also building an 8-string fretless. I bought a crappy old 8-string Rogue, pulled all the frets out of it to see if it was something I'd like. I decided it's cool, so I found this weird hammer scarab body and I got a Warmoth custom neck that I had to cut my own headstock out for. I stalled out on it too because of money and whatnot. But it's about 75-80% done. That in the member section you can see all that. I'm taking you through every section. Also in that section, I plan to, whenever I build a base for me or anybody else, I will be going through every single detail. Now it'll be come in fits and starts because I have to build as I have money and time. But there you go. So the bases that I play live, the Iceman, I hardly ever play Frosty anymore. It's cool, but I don't know. I just hardly ever play. It was the first base I built. It's technically for sale. It always is. Nobody ever wants to buy it though, because whatever. And these three, the Boris, the Jazz Blaster, and the Asteroid, are what I tend to play live mostly. I have a solo show coming up where I'll be playing by myself. I'll play the Thunderbird. I'll bring probably the Asteroid as a backup. Usually I have at least two on stage in case one weirds out. One never has, but sometimes I'll swap. I like this bass a lot, but sometimes it's got some weird sounds, and the fact that I had to finish the neck, it's got that stickiness on the back that just drives me nuts. And I've sanded it and played with it and everything like that, but it's still cool, and it's got a really cool growly sound. But it's so cool and growly, it's so distinctive that it's tough finding a place for it. And the Starmaster, Starcaster, Star Blaster, whatever, I don't know, this guy, I'm going to try to play him more and do it because I really probably should learn how to play fretted a little bit better, but I don't know. Whatever. It's what it is, But here, I want to come back to Nico because everybody always wants to see this dang thing. And there it is. Here, let's see if I can set this down. Oh, by the way, this is the crappy little thing that I play through whenever I make the videos. And you can see, I'm going to take you to right how I do it. Boom. I set that guy right there, So here, I'm going to pull out Nico. Haven't touched Nico in several months. But if you can imagine, I've spent half my damn life, more than that, most of my life, with this thing. And I call it the albatross a lot of times because it is a big old thing I wear around my neck. And right now, instead of bead, I miss it sometimes. Sometimes I don't. I don't know if eventually I'll bust this guy back out. I need to do some more setup work on it, and I'm going to take it away from this bead and go back to EADG. Just cause it. I don't know. I got the action set super high on it right now too because of the bead, so I'm going to be changing all that again. And these are the old versions of the Seymour Duncan Proactive, the ones with little knobs on it. You can kind of see residue from silicone, because back when I used to tour all the time, I'd sweat into them, and it would get behind those little buttons and just destroy them. So I had to carry 2 or 3 extras all the time and trade them out, as I broke them. Mostly back then, maybe if you guys are old folks and you were around for it, my band Agony Column, we toured with Guar a lot, like 3 full tours with Guar. Rollins band a bit. We did a co-headline tour, Biohazard. This is all like 80s, 90s, early 90s. That band fell apart in 93. They tried to get back together with Billy, a good friend of mine, playing bass, and they've tried to do things with him and mess with him ever since. But the original band was with me, Stu, Richie, and Charlie, and the original creativity. I thought that band was. I'm still real proud of those records, God, Guns and Guts, and Brave Words, and Bloody Knuckles, and then we had an EP called Comes Alive, and I'm still real proud of all that stuff. Some of it's a little problematic with today's political correctness because we had our tongues in our cheek firmly, and we were making fun of a lot of hillbilly stuff. We called our music hillbilly music. We were making fun of a lot of metal and while doing it, we were having a little fun with tropes, southern tropes and redneck sort of tropes. But One thing I've always said, you got to be careful about the clown suit you pick, because everybody's going to know you about it, or you're going to end up believing your own bullshit and feeling like your clown suit is you. And that's something I feel like might have happened with that. But whatever. Here you go. Those are my bases. And I know it's a longer video, but there it is. Bye.